Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Judith Patterson. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Texas, and today I'm going to show you how to make a fun card from the catalog using Penguin Place stamps. Now the card in the catalog isn't using these stamps, but this is the one I chose to use to make this card. Before I do that though, I wanted to make sure that you're aware of the seasonal sale that Stampin' Up! Is having the next few days. So it runs today, November 15th, through Friday, November 18th. Can you believe we're that far into November already? It's crazy. Anyway, this is a great sale. It only happens once a year. There's going to be, so punches are 10% off in the annual catalog. All of these are only for items in the annual catalog. Stamps are 15% off, not including host stamps. Dies in the annual catalog are 20% off, as are embossing folders and non-specialty designer series paper. And again, that's all for the annual catalog, so you might want to check that out. I'll leave a link in the description below so you can do that. I've already got my wish list made. In fact, I've already put my order in. It's really cool. Okay, let's switch over to the desktop. So this stamp set, Penguin Place, is in the mini catalog, and you can find it on page 2020, not 2022, just page 22. So I have had the layering dioramas, which is what they used on these two cards here, on my wish list since they came out. I don't know why I've never purchased them, because seriously, since I first saw them, I thought I needed to add them to my collection. Well, this morning I ordered them because I was really sad I couldn't make these cards for you for this video. And they're on sale 20% off, so why not? Now's the perfect time to get them. This little stamp set came out last year in the mini catalog at the same time, and I fell in love with it then, and I'm still finding so many new and fun ways to use it. So one of those fun ways is I'm going to case this card right here on page 35. The seal of approval set is too cute. It is not one that I have, but I love this card, so I thought, hey, let's replicate it using Penguin Place. Oh, and if you want to stay till the end, I went to Stampin' Up's OnStage this past weekend. So much fun. And I was able to swap with some other demonstrators. So I do have a few cards that I want to show you today, and then a few more that I'll show you on Friday, Friday's video. But so if you stay to the end, then you can see a couple of those. Well, 3 of them. Okay. So we're going to start with Picture This Dies, and I have a piece of subtle designer series paper. This is 6x6 paper, but I cut it down to 3 3/4 by 5 inches, and I'm going to use this die from Picture This Dies to cut this out. Now, because my cardstock is 3 3/4 inches wide, I have to use the standard stamp cut and emboss machine. And I'm going to put it at a jaunty little angle here. All of these pieces can be saved for another project. So now I'm going to place this piece over. This piece is 3.5 inches by 4 3/4 inches. Just making sure I was telling you right. So I'm just going to center this on top of that and use it as my guide. So the first thing that I want to do is get my Christmas tree, and my shaded spruce ink. So I'm going to stamp the tree once in the center and then kind of up and over, and then again lower on the other side. So you get 3 different shades of shaded spruce by not re-inking in between each stamp. Alright, so now I'm going to use Poppy Parade. And I'm going to stamp the little gift down here in this circle. And I'm going to stamp the little gift bag, the little shopping bag, up here in this circle. And you'll notice on every one of my blocks just about, I have 2 stamps. So I mounted one on this side, and then I flipped it over and mounted one on this side. And that's just to make it easier to stamp. They're staggered so that I can see where I'm stamping. So the next thing I'm going to do is stamp this heart right here in this big circle. I think I'm going to try to go over that one more time. Make it just a little darker. Okay, for this circle down here on the bottom, I want to use Pool Party, and I'm going to stamp some snow. I don't want to stamp my DSP, so I'm just going to stamp over here towards the side. And I'm going to stamp, actually that's all I want to do. I just want to make sure I don't get into this circle here with the gift. So I'm going to move that out of the way. Let's see how that looks. Okay, that looks great. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is get my basic gray out. I decided this time, instead of stamping a black penguin, I'm going to stamp a basic gray penguin. Now when you're stamping and you're going to be using a punch, make sure that you have your punch set up in front of you and you see which way your paper is going to be inserted into the punch. So I think I'm actually going to put my paper in this way. That way I'm not punching anything extra. So this is where I want my penguin to go. I think I need to re-ink that one. There's my penguin. I'm going to give him a little scarf. Let's do the Poppy Parade again for the scarf. And he needs a little nose, so I've got to find the block that has the nose on it. There it is. And I'm going to use Mango Melody. I guess it's a beak, not a nose. Alright, so there's that. And then I can use the punch again to punch out his feet. Since it's just a single foot in the on the punch, I'm going to turn this around so that it's facing the same way that foot is facing. And I have Mango Melody cardstock, so I'm just going to stamp the foot on the cardstock with Mango Melody. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and punch out the penguin. Okay, so I have a piece of Pear Pizzazz cardstock that I'm going to use to stamp the sentiment. Now the sentiment, I decided to go with something a little bigger than what's available in Penguin Place. So I'm using Brightest Glow, and I'm going to stamp 'Tis the Season. This was really hard because there are several great sentiments in here that would work for this. But I'm going to do 'Tis the Season. And I'm going to use Shaded Spruce. Let's take a moment to readjust my camera. It was getting a little wonky again. Okay, so I'm stamping 'Tis the Season with Shaded Spruce on Pear Pizzazz. This is, I don't like the way that looks. It's not quite clean enough of a stamp, so let's try it again. I think I wiggled my arm a little bit. Much better. Okay. So this is 2 inches wide, and you just want to make sure it's at least 2 inches by 2 inches, or close to 2 inches by 2 inches. And while I'm stamping, I'm going to stamp the antlers using soft suede. So I'm just doing this on that same scrap that I had my penguin on. Okay, and I'm going to fussy cut these out with my paper snips. Okay, so cutting out the antlers is the most tedious part of this card for sure, and it's probably the part that takes the longest. It doesn't take long, just a couple minutes to cut it out. But if you don't like to fussy cut, you can always leave the antlers off and just have the penguin. I just think they add a little bit of fun. Okay, so for 'Tis the Season, I'm going to use one of these bottom larger circles to cut that out. So you don't need another die. You can just use the one you've already used. Okay, so we have all of our pieces ready now. My card base is 11 inches by 4 1/4 inches wide, and then I scored it at 5 1/2 inches. I'm just going to use my bone folder to burnish the crease here. Decide which side I want to be the front. That looks good. And I'm going to start by putting Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of this die cut piece. And I do use quite a few because I don't want any saggy parts in my on my frame here. Okay, so now I'm going to place this just over our stamped piece. I just want to make sure everything is centered up correctly before I try to put it on the card base. Okay, that looks good. And then for the card base, I'm just going to put liquid glue on the back of the basic white cardstock. Then for the penguin, I'm going to put just a small amount of liquid glue right here, whoa, on the bottom of his headband. Got a little carried away there. And then I'm going to use a mini Stampin' Dimensional, and I'm going to cut me see if I can show you this on the camera. So I'm using my snips, and I'm just going to cut, I'm going to do this side, a thin piece off of this side, and a thin piece off of this side. I'm going to put one at about the center of each of these antlers. And then the other piece I'm just going to put back on my dimensional sheet, dimensional sheet. Let's see. Should have probably used my take your pick tool to position this a little easier. Okay. There we go. I've got the backing off now, so I'm just going to stick that right here on the penguin. Then I'm going to flip the penguin over, and on the lower part of the penguin's body, I'm putting a little bit of liquid glue, and then on the upper part, I'm going to put a Stampin' Dimensional just right here in the center of his head. I'm going to flip him over, put one wing a little outside of the circle, and the rest of him in, except for the antlers. I forgot to put his little feet on. So for that, I'm just using another dot of liquid glue behind each foot. And this time I am going to use my take your pick tool to pick that up. I don't want glue all over my fingers. Okay, so I'm going to put one foot right about here. And then the other foot will overlap that one just a smidge. Okay. For 'Tis the Season, you can use tear and tape or Stampin' Seal. I'm going to put it just right across the back of this. And then I'm going to take my Parakeet Party ribbon, fold some over. I need to find the top. Don't want to do this sideways. I'm going to put this right up here. And then just cut some off the bottom. Okay, and then to put this on the card, I'm going to use more Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm going to go with 1 and 2. I'll go ahead and put one up here just to help hold that down some. And of course, you can stop right there if you want to. But I like bling, so I'm going to add just a few of the small pearls. There we go. Then for the inside of the card, I have a 4" by 5 1/4" piece of basic white cardstock. I have a 1/4" by 5" piece of DSP that was left over from this. Just going to put a little bit of glue on the back of that. I'm going to place that right here, kind of centered vertically on the edge here. A little bit of a border. And then I'm going to use, I think I'm going to use Poppy Parade. And I'm going to go ahead and put in Merry Christmas on the inside. Then I'll just use liquid glue to attach that to the inside of my card. Okay, so there is our card from the catalog, and to compare, so again, the original was found on page 35. So there they are. What do you think? What stamp set would you use for this layout? I would love to know and love to see what you create. Okay, before I flip the camera around, I wanted to show you those swaps I got from OnStage. So this first one, isn't that pretty? I did not get this set. I'm kind of regretting it now. This is the Gingham Cottage Designer Series paper with the Cottage Wreath bundle. And I just love what she did. Susan Rutherford created this card. This next one, I love this one. This is Happiness Abounds, is where the flowers came from. And at first I thought these were heat embossed, but they're not. They're just stamped on here with black ink. And then the hello came from Forever Fern. I don't have that one, but I do have Happiness Abounds, and it is one of my favorites. And I love using blending brushes like she did here. This one is from Erin Boyd, who is in Oklahoma. And then this one is one of my favorite things I got from OnStage. It's just a little notebook. She has just a little notepad. And then she created a cover to go around it. And I just love this. And the cover even has this little pocket right here. So this is the Lots of Glow Designer Series paper, and unfortunately it is not available anymore. This was super popular paper. I never even got any. It sold out pretty quick. So you can't, unless you've already purchased this paper, you won't be able to use it. But just this idea I think is brilliant, and you could do so many other things besides the Brightest Glow or the Lots of Glow paper. This was created by Baby Ruth Bullock. She is in Bastrop, Texas, so she's a fellow Texan demonstrator. And she's genius, and I'm just going to have to case this one at some point. I love it so much. Thank you for watching my video today. I hope that you were inspired to create something. I hope that you have time to create. If you have any questions, if there's a card from the catalog that you would like to see made, then be sure to let me know. There's a link in my description box below where you can contact me. And if you saw any products here that you would like to purchase, I've got the links for everything below as well. And dimensions will be, all the measurements for this card will be over on my blog, so you can check that out. And if you'd like to see the swap that I shared at OnStage this weekend, then be sure to check out my blog tomorrow, because that is what I'll be posting there tomorrow. Thanks again for watching my video. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it, and if you want to see more and haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Y'all have a great day. Happy stamping!